I'm here with Martina Lutz, a teacher in Johnson County, and you have an interesting project dealing with Appalachian students. And what's the title of your project?
Appalachian students learning more about music through the use of technology. So for my grant, I purchased 15 MIDI keyboards because our students at Johnson County are fortunate enough that we are now 4th grade through 12th grade one-to-one with Chromebooks.
Okay.
And they kind of emphasize that they want us using the Chromebooks with every class to make it valid for the kids to have the Chromebook, need the Chromebook. So I was like, well, I teach band. How on earth am I going to utilize Chromebooks? And then I started thinking about MIDI controllers and how I use those for different sound and keyboard sounds and input and stuff. And I was like, well, it would be really cool if the kids could have MIDI controllers and then hook those into their Chromebooks, and I could use the Chromebooks as a resource to teach piano lessons. And so what we did is one day a week through the piano lessons, we did piano Wednesdays because I couldn't give up all my band lessons. So on Wednesdays, I actually taught the kids how to play piano. And we used that knowledge to learn how to play our scales and to learn more about reading the notes and things like that.
So, where did you get this idea for this particular technology?
I've worked some with MIDI keyboards, and my assistant, he's a volunteer parent who is really technologically sound with music stuff. He does a lot of recording and stuff, and we were talking about how it'd be cool to have one for our marching band show to bring in some sound files and stuff. And then through that, I was like, that would be really cool to just have in class and use as a teaching tool.
And you just mentioned something that's interesting, a volunteer parent.
Yes.
So that just seems like you've got a tremendous asset there that's really helping.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't have an assistant in Johnson County right now. It's just we don't have the budget at the moment.
Yeah.
The idea is to hire another band director and to be my assistant at some point. But I'm currently teaching 5 elementary schools plus the middle school and the high school. So I'm traveling around with instruments stacked to the top of my car because I have to go from elementary school to elementary school, and I just don't have enough to leave at every school. And so the other thought was, this is a very inexpensive thing that kids could maybe purchase to use and to be in band when they can't afford a $1,000 saxophone.
What's the next step with this project?
I'm hoping that my next step will be to maybe get some recording, like sound recording stuff, to implement with the keyboards, and possibly even you can get drum sets that are now digital, and the kids could practice, the drummers could practice with headphones on and stuff, and use that into a recorder. So I'm hoping that next year maybe I get another grant to expand the project some.
Okay. Why did you go into teaching?
Why did I go into teaching? Funny story. I actually, when I went to college, I didn't want to be a teacher. I didn't think I'd be good at it. And so my first degree is in music performance. And while I was a music performance teacher, or going for my degree, my last couple of years, I actually gave voice lessons over at the Mountain Arts Center. And then they asked me to pick up a small children's choir and another kind of class that was based around school-age students. And I loved it. I loved seeing them learn about music. I loved doing the private lessons. So then I went back to Moorhead, and I was getting ready to graduate anyway. So I went ahead and graduated with that degree, and then started my master's. They asked me to stay and be a graduate assistant. So as I was doing my master's in music performance, I also did all the work to get the bachelor's in music ed.
Okay. So how valuable is music for people learning more about music and becoming decent at it?
Well, it's not even so much being decent at it, but it's about the humanity of it. We're in an age now where everything is digital and robotic and technological, and even though I'm using technology with this, we lack expression. Everything wants to be so calculated and mathematical and scientific that the humanity is lost. And now with the developments of cell phones, we're so attached to a screen now that we don't know how to communicate with other people. And so what I'm seeing with kids nowadays is a lot of them don't know how to communicate feelings. And so then we get these kids who are at just outlandish numbers of kids being diagnosed with ADHD and being diagnosed as being depressed and being put on these brain-altering medications. But the thing is, if they had a way. I also have a degree in counseling, so
Okay.
you know, if they had a way to an outlet to express some of these
Yeah.
feelings, and just in the arts, the kids they have that outlet, and they're so much more expressive and in touch, and they can empathize with other people. And I think, you know, with the school shootings and the school violence, maybe if we learned how to treat people better and empathize better, that we could end a lot of this.
Well, hey, Martina.
You put me on a soapbox.
Okay, yeah. Well, hey, you're passionate about it, and passion that we have for things is what we're good at, and then that passion we share it with others. So that's one reason why you're a great teacher.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on the program
Thank
and everything
you.
you do.
You have a great day.
Okay.